hears it too. Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 21st meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Obviously, I'd like to welcome our newest member, Kevin Cahill, to the board, and once again, thank Jack Meany for his years of service to the town. We'll move to public comment. Yes, no, maybe? Once, twice sold. Okay. Brings us to the Motorola radio discussion. Recognize Scott.
I'll go up first.
Okay.
Back in December 27th, I believe it was, we came in with a detailed proposal, at least a conceptual proposal of what we're recommending for the town of Ware, both the fire and the police. I believe it was January 17th. The drop dead for putting things on the warrant article was required. You chose not to put it on this year. Naomi asked, what could we get for $950,000, assuming the second check comes in for a total of $950,000 from the ARPA money. So I asked Scott and I asked Bill from Two-Way. Scott is from Motorola Solutions. And what we came up with is we have a $950,000 solution for police only, the 5 towers, Mine Hill, the principal tower, 2 simulcast towers, one at East Ware and South Ware Station, 100 feet tall, and 2 remote sites, receiver sites, one at Clough Park, Everett Dam, and the other one is at Chase Park. They're only receive sites, but that will give the town of Ware 100% coverage for not only the 100-watt police mobile radio, the car, but also the 3-watt handheld, like this, power, which is on a person across the town of Ware. So the town of Ware have 100% coverage. So in order to meet that number, a couple things have to happen. We have to drop from the proposal the microwave towers, antennas essentially, and the electronics, and also the generators for the backup power at South Ware and East Ware, as well as the LP tanks. So, but it still leaves us with a identical performance that we pitched back last December and spoke on in January. So the original numbers that kind of got jostled around was 1.5 for both fire and police, and to break it into 2 pieces, a little over 1.1 million for the police, and a little under 400,000 for the fire. So tonight Scott will speak on his, and he's going to represent Two-Way as well. Two-Way does the civil work, which is antennas, cabling, generators, LP tanks in the ground, and the big base that goes for the before the actual tower itself. It's a 60,000-pound piece of concrete with rebar. So, again, we're trying to meet the intent of the 950. I believe we have. The only thing I would just want to make clear is that the last 6 months I've been trying to get a hold of and work with Granite State Communications. Buying the 5 towers with electronics is not going to work unless we have a means of connecting the towers together. The design of that was going to be fiber optics connection between the 5 points. The main point is Mine Hill, and the 4 distributed sites is South Ware Fire, South Ware, East Ware Fire, as well as Chase Park and Clough Everett Dam. So I have not been able to get a response. I have provided them with the wiring diagram and the specifications for the fiber optics link. Last time I talked with them last year on the phone, They were very overly prescribed in trying to get their Chester communications. They have a Ware Exchange, they have a Chester Exchange as well. Apparently, they had significant upgrades to equipment, and they're having problems getting it to work. So, I sent emails, and I've given Naomi the email chain and the specifications. Heard nothing back. So basically, this is the only piece we don't have the puzzle solved for. So the budget you hear tonight of the $950 does not include any engineering costs for this in the form of running wires from the road or fiber optics cable from the road. I have verified through Grand Estate that they support all the roadside poles. So we don't have the cost of hooking it to the towers. And we don't have the cost of the engineering to do any reprogramming in the switching house out here, or the one down in South Wave where the main plant is. So without that, we really don't have a way of going forwards. So I don't know what's possible from the town. If Naomi or the board wants to write a letter requesting them to consider our request, our need, and see where it goes from there. So basically, I understand the second check for $475 comes in on June-ish.
I'll say God only knows. I don't know. We were expected to get the first half in May, we got in October.
Okay.
So I don't really, I mean, we're hopeful, but I don't know.
Right, I'm just saying, we took June as being sort of the date. So Scott's going to speak to the cost, the breakdown, or whatever is behind that. And I just want to make a point that if you wish to proceed as if a contract's in hand in the future, Scott has got a 7-month guarantee from the Motorola side, guaranteed price. Two-way, on the other hand, buys everything. They don't have their own product that they develop and keep in storage. He'll buy the antennas, he'll contract for concrete services, and excavator to come in and dig the holes and pour the concrete for the towers. And so Bill Bartlett from 2A, the president, has pretty much complete control over his labor costs of his people to do the work. He has some control over large items like the tower costs. He's at the mercy of the local economy for concrete pouring, digging, and crane rentals. So piece of this is Scott's. He will speak to his fixed price. And Bill made an attempt at pricing something he thinks is good till roughly August. So with that said, I'll let Scott go.
Hey, Jack, can I ask you one question just real quick, just more of a curiosity question? So the 5 towers, are they all on public land?
Yes, we did a presentation in December, and one of the major criterias that I set in looking out for the property is town owns it, number one. Number two, is it very available in terms of approaching it?
Right.
Yes, we don't want to build any roads. Two, power and fiber optics. Cool. All of these hit the same thing. And plus, East Ware and South Ware have all that. Plus, they have excellent coverage for the simulcast towers. The reason for the 2 out in Chase Park and Clough is that the low power handhelds aren't powerful enough to make the backhaul, meaning go from the little radio back to a tower. Mm-hmm. So you need to have a remote receive site that can pick that up. The way that gets transmitted back to Mine Hill is over the fiber optics. It's the connectivity. It's in lieu of a microwave, in lieu of another means of getting there, or just hearing it back from there. You just need to have a return path. So this fiber optics.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Jack.
Now, do you want me to present, I can present the pricing, the
Yeah.
projector's working, that way we can all see
I think that'd
it.
be great.
Yeah, did you have the HDMI cord?
Just pull down with that?
Straight
Pull
down.
straight down, yeah.
I remember this.
We do all right.
Last time. I'm gonna plug my laptop in too. medicine so I don't die halfway through here.
I should take these out. Makes me warm. I don't need to see that far away. All right.
Okay, so as Jack was saying, he covered pretty much all the bases as far as what we're gonna do from the system side. So again, it's a one-channel system for the police department, as Jack said. So 5 sites, 3 transmit sites at Mine Hill, South Ware, and East Ware. And then there's receive-only sites to kind of fill in some of the coverage at the lake and then over at Clough Dam. So just so we're clear on that. And again, we saw this in December, but just to give you an idea what the coverage is going to look like, this is portable coverage. Pretty much the whole town is painted, so which is guarantees that portable radios that the police carry will work on street and pretty much anywhere outside throughout the town, which is a huge difference from what they have today. And then we don't need to look at that right now. So I pulled this pricing for what I shared with Jack back in January. So when we originally started looking at this, we were providing budgetary pricing to the town, so the price was high. Usually budgetary pricing is, and then throughout the month of January, we were able to get with engineering and really get into the weeds on what exactly we're going to need so we could get an accurate price for you. So the price definitely came down. But again, this is police only for the multi-site system. The equipment total at list price, $321,232. Discounted equipment, so we discount there's a state contract that agencies in the state buy off of NASPO. So we took that off. It runs anywhere from 15 to 20% basically on all our components, depending on what it is. And we went above and beyond that to kind of get as much as we could off of that price. And then the install, project management, system integration, engineering, and warranty. It's a big number, but that encompasses pretty much everything, right? 2 ways install the hardware at the sites. We have a project manager that gets assigned. The whole process of getting the system installed could take up to a year or more, depending on how long it takes to get the equipment. So we'll have people, pretty much full-time on the project until it gets cut over. So PM, system integration, we have techs from Motorola that live locally in New England who will come out and work on the system and getting it optimized. They'll work with 2-way. There's engineers who get assigned to the project as well to do the coverage runs at the end to make sure what we guaranteed in our proposal is going to be met. And then there's warranty. So the warranty would take place essentially after the system gets cut over, so you guys would sign a contract. We wouldn't start that warranty until we're done install and the town is using it. So from that point, it's 1 year from cutover. So the total for the Motorola project, so just for our stuff, excluding the civil work, is $545,585. And then 2-ways portion, which Jack had mentioned, are the towers, right? We're going to put the towers, the pads, the shelters, the outdoor cabinets, and wiring and all the labor, the tower climbing, to climb the towers and hang the antennas and do the work there, is $404,215. So it's, we've been doing this over the last few years where Motorola doesn't handle, well, at least in my projects, I don't do the civil work. To save the town money, I say let 2-way contract with them directly, right? So they can do the work, and then they don't pay our margin on the labor and all the stuff that they buy. So it's a big, it's a big cost savings to the town to do it that way, and we've done that with a number of projects over the last few years. So if the town decided to lease through us, which you can do, I think I provided you lease numbers, and I have updated numbers with the new total as well.
Lease is a municipal lease.
It's a municipal lease,
For
yeah.
a period of time, equal payments. If you want to down pay your $950 or whatever, the balance being $400,000, you can pay it all off in 1 year. You can lease over 3 years, 2 years, whatever, the balance.
Yeah, and you can do payment in arrears too. Like we have some customers who sign and then they won't have money available for up to a year or two. We can actually push that first payment out up to 2 years if need be, just so we can get the project started. But you can it is technically two separate projects. You got the Motorola project and the two-way civil project, but you can wrap that all into the lease, which is good. So again, the total is just under the 950.
How's your supply chain right now for your equipment, the Motorola equipment?
It's not great. Yeah, I mean, everything's been, a lot of our components, all of our equipment is manufactured in the US, but all of our parts and components come from Asia.
Yep.
And so it's depends what you're ordering. I mean, for the stuff we have included here, it's not horrible. It's more or less like our mobile radios. Those have been taking a long time.
Yep.
There's this obscure parts too we can't find that like you need to complete a mobile radio, like a
Yep.
bolt or something, or some, connector or something that we're having trouble with. So it could take some time. We're told that could clear up towards the end of the year, but with everything going on
Yep.
in the world right now, it could, that supply chain thing could go on for a long
The
time.
warranty that you mentioned there in line 3, is that a coverage warranty or is that an equipment warranty for
It's
1 year?
equipment, yeah, on all
Okay.
equipment and services and install.
Okay.
Yep.
And what's the duration of that?
So that's the 1 year. So
1 year.
yeah, it's a 1 year from system cutover to, it starts at that date and then it goes for a year. And then after that, you can renew a maintenance contract with us, or you can contract two-way directly for the maintenance. It's really, I would recommend doing that.
What's
Yeah.
ballpark cost on a maintenance contract?
I talked with Bill about this, and because it's new equipment in the near term, meaning the next 5 years, the price would be roughly the same as what we're getting charged by Aaron,
Okay.
$16,000 for the actual radio equipment, not the batteries for handhelds.
Consumables.
That was a rough number he got, and the reason is because the stuff's basically new. And there are, correct me if I'm wrong, are there spare parts baked into this number?
Yep, yep.
So you get a suite of spare electronic components that, should they fail, you can usually, you have your spares. And if you really wanted to pay a little bit more on the recurring maintenance, you can get, I don't know what the exact name is,
It's
but
advanced replacement.
advanced replacements, which in other words, if you put yours in there, and yours comes out while waiting to get the one back, this is spare, the replacement. They got some ready for 24 hours. So it's just an extra convenience of not having any down.
And that's also baked into our warranty. Advanced replacement is in there for up to a year, but since it's all new equipment, we rarely see any failures or anything like that. So yeah.
Is the maintenance contract through Motorola?
Well, you can do maintenance agreements through Motorola. Typically, I see for systems of this size, you can go to one of our service providers and contract directly with them, and it's less money. And the reason I recommend doing that here is because there's no dispatch consoles involved in this project, right? We're only selling RF equipment. Our dispatch and core solutions that we have require a little bit more TLC. So in that case, I would say, contract directly with Motorola. But since there's no consoles here, it's just RF, two-way is more than suited to be able to handle it. And you can contract with us, but keep in mind what we'll do is
You'll sub it to one of your authorized contractors.
probably sub it out to two-way,
Right.
and then you're paying like an additional fee kind of to pay us to do it. And, I just, for a system of this size, again, any way to save you guys, recurring costs and stuff, I'm
Appreciate that.
all for, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's the price. Anything else I should show here, Jack? I mean, do you guys want to? I have the lease information I can show too. If you
Yeah,
want.
that'd be great if you could.
Just going back to that actually.
Is this the,
So this is the other thing I wanted to show a snapshot of too, is the billing milestone. So if you guys are to sign with us, we obviously don't bill for the whole thing up front, right? We bill in stages. So the first payment, which is, is 25% of the overall contract value. And we'll typically, to get a contract signed, you guys will get billed for this amount. And then we'll have a separate meeting after that with the town and with Jack and whoever, the police and fire, our police department in this case, go through all the components of the system, make sure that everyone agrees on what we're doing and the coverage and everything else. And then we bill for the 60%. And the reason it's so heavy up front is because we have to ship a lot of equipment, right? We have to get the stuff out the door. So, and then 10% would be upon install, and then we'll do a whole series, probably a few weeks of final acceptance testing, and then you'll get billed that 5% at the end. So, and if you were to lease, this wouldn't really, you wouldn't really have to worry about this, right? Because it would all be done through municipal lease, so.
Well, I don't think we can agree, I don't think we can, I'll defer to you, but I don't think we can contract without going to town meeting.
Right.
So this will be, when we get the
Next
19th in
March.
our hands,
No,
how much of a setback from
no,
a
where the
Let's
agency
say-
took sign.
September,
Oh,
we
we are?
get the money?
Oh, that, because that's,
How far back do we tell you to start the proposal work? So you have something for us to sign in the end of August?
I mean, we're ready, I mean, really, oh yeah, because I still owe you a proposal. Yeah, so we just got pricing done. The proposal is really just a write-up that has a statement of work and all the documentation, and then it has a contract, and I can get that together pretty quickly. I have to get engineering to do the write-up and do that stuff, but it can happen within a matter of a couple weeks, most likely. And then the other thing to consider too, this is what I'm showing for the billing milestones is only for our Motorola stuff. So Bill, you'd have to talk with Bill about how he's going to bill you guys for his work, but that's the other thing to consider, right, is Bill's got to have all his stuff done first, right, before we start our portion, right? The towers need to be erected and all that stuff needs to be in place. So that's something that, you know, will delay us getting started, right, is figuring out what Bill's schedule is and getting all his supplies and everything he needs to get the work done. But I believe he'll bill similar to this, right? He'll do it in stages as well, but that's something we'll want to check with him on. And then, so this is just, I just put some generic kind of terms in here for the lease, but I just show a 2, 3, 4, and a 5 year, so you can kind of see what the percentage is for the rates. And just, these are today's rates, so as you know, interest rates are kind of going, you know, they might be going up soon, so we can hold these rates for, and I'll send you this too, Naomi.
Okay.
Yeah, I can email this to you. We can hold these, I think, for up to a month, but, you know, if you guys do something in August, we'll have to revisit these numbers just to get accurate APRs and all that stuff, so.
Yeah, just for clarification, the ARPA money, is the Board of Selectmen the agents to expend that?
Yeah, you said you'd have a public hearing first. When
Yeah,
you
we'll have a
get it.
public hearing, but the Selectmen are agents to expend that
Correct.
money,
That's right.
so. The other thing too is, I mean, obviously, once the towers are erected and the equipment's put in, the technology's pretty much already out of date. So, and what I mean by that is, most of our equipment is Phase 1 P25. Is this equipment you're putting in capable of Phase 2 P25?
It isn't, because phase 2 is only a trunking standard.
Okay.
And you guys are conventional, so.
Okay.
Yeah, phase 2 is TDMA, and it's right now, and it's an industry thing. It's not just Motorola, it's only available with trunking systems, and the only systems in the state that have trunking are Manchester and Nashua.
Okay.
And they're still phase 1.
Phase 1, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else, you guys? Just so, this might be useful too, I know Belknap County and there's a few other agencies who have used ARP money for their projects recently. I don't know if that helps or not.
Can you forward that list to her?
Yeah.
I just want to make contact with them and see if they've received anything from the feds.
Yeah.
Since
I
they-
don't
since
think
they
they
spent
went
it.
until 2026, when
Probably
they
not.
when they audit it.
26.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, maybe it wouldn't hurt maybe even to talk with them. I know Belknap
Okay.
County, we closed a deal with them in December, and they're funding it completely with ARPA money, and that
Okay.
project was about 1.8 million, I think, just under that, so.
Okay.
Do you remember the duration that project took?
The Belknap,
Yeah.
it just started, so.
It's still in process.
Yeah, we just got a contract signed in December, and we actually are starting to order equipment, and we're about 4 months out on getting everything in.
Okay.
So,
So realistically, if we were to sign a proposal with you folks within the next month, we'd be looking at least 1 calendar year before
At
the
least.
switch over.
at least because of Bill's work, he has to
Yep.
do the towers and steel. Things have just been hard to get.
Yep.
I think, yeah, Bill can speak to his lead times, but again, that work should be done prior to us starting any
Yep.
of our stuff. And
If you wait a year, they're gonna be 2 years.
yeah, I'd say
Oh, absolutely,
I'd
yeah.
say a year and a half conservatively. You
Okay.
know.
Does the board have any questions? for
I'd throw
Scott?
another thing on the fire if I could.
Yep.
Okay.
Like this.
I suspect the fire chief wouldn't want us to forget him. So, there's nothing preventing from upgrading Mine Hill, which is the simulcast site for Ware, and linking a microwave link from Mine Hill, which is literally over there, over that barn, to Wolf Hill in Deering, which will provide a connection to the simulcast system. There's 8 towers, I think, around Capital Region. And even though they're all the way around us from the northern, east, northwest side, the south is not populated because of the mountain ranges around us. We don't get a major, some places within the town. So we've shown back in December that we can get 100% of their analog coverage in the town of Ware by adding just one simulcast, basically a transmitter receiver up here with some timing equipment and having the link microwave back to the simulcast tower in Wolf Hill and Deering.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a capital area issue. That wouldn't be a town of Ware issue.
They want you to buy it, and they want you to pay for the maintenance over time on their lease. So they require the town of Ware to buy it. That they will work with Motorola and whoever else to do the install. But you gotta pay for the drink to get in. And once you've got that equipment established, they will give you part of their monthly fee is maintenance, and they hire the maintenance on your equipment. So everybody incrementally adds, that's the way it works.
And Jack, what's the price for that?
Well, I think it's $380,000 back in December 27th. But it may be a little bit less because of the pricing.
Yeah, because those numbers were budgetary
They're
numbers,
budgetary.
so it'll come down.
So probably for inflation and everything else, because even if you put it on the warrant in 2023, you can't sign up for it. So, with the way prices are going, probably say 400,000. But that would give the total town aware for the capital coverage, which I think is, important to have. And the other thing is, when we do this tower on Mine Hill, if we're smart, every time you touch that tower, you gotta come up with a engineering plan for change. They just don't let anybody run up there and make changes. So if we were to include potential for locating on Mine Hill where the Wolf Hill microwave tower would go, that would save us some money potentially for not having to go through another design. Okay, and also, if we consider in the future for some redundancy to, let's say the Granite State telephone finally comes through, should that power go down? Just like public service, eventually they would like to have the generators on site, so at least a major portion of the system will still work and power down. And if for some reason Granite State telephone or communications now goes down, we'd like to try to have at least microwaves running, at least 100% certainty if it's going to work to East Ware from Mine Hill. And some minor reservations that we're going to have some interference from some of the foliage going from Mine Hill to South Ware. And that's including a 100-foot tower on both sides. Now, that facility, Mine Hill, is due to go through an upgrade of 19 feet elevation for some of their future communications. So Crown Castle, is it? Crown Castle owns it, and we have the right, based on some agreements we signed. I understand from Jeff Barton that we got our antennas on top of the cell tower, which is a great thing for us. We got our backup power too, and there's also fiber optics already there. So, going forwards with this first tranche, if you will, if we do the smart decisions to include these other options for up on Mine Hill, we can save a few bucks down the street. They won't have to redo, hopefully we won't have to redo a tower plan for each incremental upgrade we do in the future. That's all. Thank you.
All right, the board have any questions for Scott? I appreciate the hard work.
Yeah.
Like I said, obviously, this is going to be a hot topic that we're discussing in the very near future, so you'll definitely be hearing from us.
Okay, and if I can be any help with Granite State Telephone, obviously, I might have some folks up at the state who can rattle their cage a little bit, you know.
We like cage rattling.
And are they the only carrier too, right?
In Wayne?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kinda,
in this town, yeah.
yeah.
There is
Okay.
one thing that might help. I got the specifications from Bill from 2A, and I know you guys reserved some money from 2021. I don't know, it's 36,000, whatever it is.
35-ish, yeah.
35. Any antenna work you might have considered is redundant to this proposal. So that would free up $16,000, $20,000. Like I say, any engineering costs that we get a bill from Granite State, we don't have any money for that.
Right.
So maybe a piece of that pot would be beneficial to pay that in the near term.
Right.
Also, if you wanted somebody like two-way communications, work off a purchase order to go negotiate technically with Granite State Telephone, I think that's smart money spent for just having him go there and sit there and say, I'm here on behalf of the town of Ware. I'd like to get this ball rolling, and that'd be better than me calling up and maybe you calling up. So I've exhausted my asking at this point.
Okay.
Jack, you said the pads were going to be 16 feet square,
Well,
roughly?
what's buried 8 feet in the ground is an 18-inch high, 11-foot square pad. And up comes a tower off in that to just about 5 feet, just above the ground level, and it's 7 by 7. It's 60,000 pounds. That's the, you think of it on an antenna or a tower, you have a huge moment of inertia when you push on the top. But it takes very little, like wind, to pull it over. So even though this antenna probably only weighs 2 tons, the whole antenna structure, I say the tower, the base needs to be substantial because it's important. This is an important point to revisit. There are 4 categories of towers or risk level you're willing to accept. And there's, first one is, you don't care if it falls down. If it falls down, it ain't gonna hurt anybody. It'd be out of the way. Another one is, you care if it falls down, but because of loss of utility, but it's not gonna hurt anybody. And the opposite is true. You don't care if it falls down, and there's nobody to hurt. So then the last one is, you can't afford to have it fall down for life and safety purposes, and it would hurt something. The 2 fire stations, the 114-77 going past, and say nothing about public service power. So this is basically set up for, I think it's 150 miles an hour, 3-second gust. And when it's not gusting that high, in the wintertime, I think it's 3/4 of an inch of ice at 45 miles an hour. So these towers are designed to stay there. So if we had 150 mile an hour wind for 3 seconds, the only thing that'd be standing is the tower. All the power, all the trees, roofs coming off the building. So they're designed to be resistant to any environmentals. And the way these things are designed, there is a national wind group out there. I don't know what the group is. But they classify basically every county and sub-county areas for traditional winds and ice loading. So when they designed this level 4, you hire an engineer, meaning a professional engineer comes in. They do that analysis and they sign off on the design, and that dictates the requirement of the tower and the associated base to it as well. So, yes, you can get cheaper ones, and this is galvanized, and it'll eventually be a dull tan color, or actually be a dull grayish color like gray. So it is meant to be a many-year tower, not just something made out of bare steel.
And Jack, just one quick question. Do we own 20 feet behind that station over on Sugar Hill?
I don't know. We're gonna look into that, but we got the
Should
plan.
look into it if
We
we
got the
don't own
lot,
it.
right? We got the lot, so, yeah.
I looked
so-
at the tax maps.
Yeah.
Whether they're accurate or not.
Right.
but
And I know we talked about that before.
Plenty of space to put on both lots.
Yeah.
They only really require, you can look at one of the pictures back from Londonderry, old Londonderry Town Hall. It's 11 square foot, I think it's the 12 square each side, chain link fence. Just keep you from climbing on it.
Right.
So it doesn't take a lot of space.
No.
Nope. All right, very good. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to department head committee items. Don't see any additionals here. Reappoint, planning board member Bruce Fillmore. Filled all the paperwork out, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
We all know Bruce.
Yeah, he's been on, he's up for a reappointment.
Yep,
I think this might be his third time around.
that sounds right.
This is a
Third.
3-year reappointment.
It's another 3-year, yeah.
Make a motion, we reappoint Bruce Fillmore to the planning board as a member for a 3-year period.
I'll second it. Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Noes, abstentions. And then we have a request to appoint an alternate to the planning board, Jack Meany.
He's enjoyed his time on there, which
Yeah.
is why he asked at the last planning board meeting that he would like to, he's an alternate.
Mhm.
This makes the 4th alternate.
Okay.
Well, 3rd, because your 4th one is up above still.
Okay.
So make 3.
Okay.
Also a 3-year appointment.
It would be 3 years, yes.
Make a motion, we appoint Jack Meany to the planning board as an alternate for a 3-year term.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. Brings us to the big question for this board. Elect the chair and the vice chair for the board. So I guess as the chair, I'll entertain a motion, if there is such, for chairman
A nomination.
nomination.
Yep.
I'll nominate Ricky Hippler
wanna
for
do-
chair.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
And nominate John Oz.
I got to abstain. And is there a no?
You don't want to vote for yourself?
I'm going to abstain for myself. All right.
I'll nominate John Osborne for vice chair.
Second it?
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Abstain.
Abstention. Okay. All right, brings us to the,
The chairman plaque, so I can slide it over to him now. There we go.
put it back in the cabinet for all I care. Close enough. All right, the ex officio spots.
Let's, so, Kevin, just so we can explain. why
no,
we
it's
do it.
fine,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, ex officio, one board member serving on another board. There is certain boards that the select board members fill a seat on as ex officio. So, like, John Van's been on the park committee. I've been on the Stone Fund. Jack Meany was on the planning board. And I think that's all that we.
No, CIP
And
was.
CIP was John.
Yeah.
And there's a couple others that other boards that have defunct that had ex officios, but, again, we obviously don't have to fill those, so.
Sure.
So I guess at this point,
I'm gonna stick with Park.
I'm gonna stick with the Stone Fund.
How often is the planning board meeting?
Well, they have two times, the second and fourth Thursday. Second Thursday is a work session, and the fourth Thursday is always hearings.
Okay.
And those are Thursday nights at 7?
Seven, yep.
Yep.
So, so we're still looking for a CIP and
I'll
planning
stay
board.
with CIP.
CIP is during the day.
Yep.
CIP, we've rotated between Wednesdays and Thursday mornings,
Okay.
between 8:30 and 9:30 or 8:30 and 10. That's because the department heads are available and you don't have to have them come back at night. So, that's typically when they're televised, but they're still,
Okay. So we're just looking for planning board.
Well, you've got quite a few alternates there. I mean, I have an issue because I may not be able to make them all.
the alternates cannot fill the ex officio seat.
Yeah, that's the one seat that they
Oh,
cannot
they
So
fill.
one seat in the planning board, they cannot. So
Right,
there'll be a maximum of 4 without an ex officio.
right. So,
And they don't meet twice every month. I mean, sometimes in the winter, they've only had one meeting if there isn't anything on the,
agenda or the,
if there's nothing for applications, sometimes they don't meet the 4th. It's hit or miss. I mean,
All depends on the load coming in.
right,
Right.
and the article for master plan didn't pass, so they're not working on that during work session. They are talking about a few different zoning amendments they're working on. The other night, they bounced around a few of them. It's gonna take some work, but it was just more or less a brainstorm to see which ones, because you can't tackle 6 at once. You gotta kind of
Right.
do one and do its due diligence to one versus picking and choosing and then sticking something in that's not really carried through the whole entire ordinance.
Right.
So,
so, again, I did
the only
it,
thing, Sherry, I would just say, and this is just, it would go very much hand in hand with conservation. That's
oh,
all.
absolutely, absolutely.
You could give up your conservation, there's alternates there. It's up to you, but it very much goes
I'm
hand in
just thinking
hand.
I may have to miss, I've got a situation where I may have,
Well, right now, I mean, Jack missed, anybody else that served
Yeah,
on it.
I
It
missed,
just
I
doesn't-
missed when I
Life
served
doesn't
on it.
Life
serve.
happens, it's
Yeah.
not a big deal.
It doesn't
Yeah.
serve as long as you let them know ahead of time.
yeah.
Are there any other boards or committees that
The only other one we
require an ex
had was the
officio?
Agricultural Commission, that's been defunct for
That's
years.
But it's been defunct,
Okay.
yeah,
So you had 5 committees and 5 people,
right,
but that one's been so dormant and
Yep.
non-existent,
Right.
so it's so long.
right.
Is this anything Kevin's interested in? I don't know, I'm just
We're
asking.
just asking.
I think it would be, are you talking about planning?
Yeah,
You're
planning
referring
board,
to?
yeah.
I think to truthfully answer that without the experience with the planning board would be premature. Of course, I'd be interested in doing it. There is obviously time burn for the summer for me.
Mhm.
You're very, very busy in the summer. So some nights I might be asleep at the table at 7 PM.
Bruce has got a big arm.
I don't know that this is maybe the right thing to ask, but I'm wondering if between the two of you, one of you could make a meeting. Would that work?
I think I remember doing that when I first got on it. I think,
Yeah, somewhere along.
Somewhere along the
we had
lines-
2 on one.
yeah, and I think it was the planning board.
Yeah, wanna
Because
say
when
it
I was on in 15.
I know it's very hard because if you've got a meeting that you've been to and then the next month they're back and then you're not there the next
I
month.
think
That's
it was Keith and
It's
I,
it's a very hard,
for a short
To
time.
follow.
Yeah.
That sounds
It is
right.
very hard.
I think it was Keith and I that shared the spot.
it's
back-
just
back
extremely
when.
hard to
Yeah.
keep everybody informed. I threw that out there just
Yeah,
for
that wouldn't
coverage,
be, yeah,
but
that obviously wouldn't be fair.
Right,
it wouldn't be fair.
right. So,
All right, well, I guess I can try it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yep. All right, that moves us to the manifest.
Do you have one?
I do, right here in front of me.
I think I need one too.
All right, gonna move to order the treasurer to sign The payroll accounts payables checks dated March 24th, 2022 is included in the following manifest. Payroll manifest of $70,930.21 for weekly payroll. Accounts payable manifest of $53,224.68. John Stark for $500,000 and Ware Schools for $600,000 for a total of $1,224,154.89. The following manifests were previously ordered to be signed at the March 7th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Payroll manifest of $78,255.32 for weekly payroll checks dated 3/17, and accounts payable manifest of $26,988.64 for checks dated 3/17. As there is no Selectmen's meeting scheduled for Monday, March 28th, 2022, further order the treasurer to sign payroll checks dated March 31st, 2022, estimated to be about $75,000. Furthermore, to order the treasurer to sign up to the amount of $90,000 for accounts payables that cannot wait until the next scheduled board meeting. Reports and actual check amounts will be reported to the Board of Selectmen by inclusion in the manifest memo at the next scheduled meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving seconded. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Abstentions?
And,
Noes?
and we'll have to, Kevin's never been
that's fine.
shown how to do that.
That's fine.
So I don't know if one of you want to tutor?
Yeah, I can do that. That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Yep.
It's basically, they approved how you, and.
Yeah, we approve the
And in
budget.
this black
Or not
box-
the budget, but the weekly,
Right, and then this black box has the payroll and the payables and everything else.
all the receipts and everything that we're actually paying are in that box.
Got it.
Yep. Any other signatures we do in there too is for like the tax exemptions. When we do like the MS 535,
The budgets
the
and things for the
budget, stuff like
state.
that. Yeah, state documents, there, we sign them in there too as well.
That's usually done by Beth Friday, during the day on Friday, so I usually come in during the weekend and do it
Yeah.
myself.
When you get a free 5 minutes or something, you can, that's what he does. He comes in, I mean, John and I do it before the event,
Sure,
on Monday. Sherry comes in on the weekends,
sure.
so.
The payroll and the accounts payable will all be emailed to you Friday evening, Friday
Yeah,
afternoon.
After Beth gets done with it.
So you'll have at least a
You'll get a
idea of what's
list
coming
with the
up.
checks and the vendor and the amounts.
Yeah.
But then when you come in to sign it, you can actually pull the receipts
Yeah.
that are attached to the
Yep.
checks.
Yeah.
All the slips that go with it.
Give you a chance to preview what's
Yeah.
in the box.
So
If you can't make it
if
on
one
the
looks
weekend.
out of whack, you can say, all right, I want to go look at that one, and why is that one, or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got it.
At least it's a face value.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little bit getting used to, but I know you guys have mentored each other.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
whatever's good, you could show him how to
Yeah.
do it.
Sure, we just walk through it.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
You do it before Monday's meeting.
Yeah, I usually do it before
What I'll
Mondays.
do is just
Yeah.
schedule to be here early.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep. All right, brings us to the minutes of 3/7, which are all available online on the town website. I figured that out, where they like to hide now.
Yeah.
And I downloaded it before I came in, so I didn't look like the fool trying to find it like I usually am.
I usually print it off, but I didn't do that either, so.
Calm yourself. All right, so,
You got a couple on page 1 already.
I know. So we just review the minutes, Kevin, that from the week before, just for obviously errors and omissions. Page 1.
Under public comment, item number 1. Selectman Van thanked her for 3 years. I think it was corrected at the meeting for her years. Just
Years,
take out the
multiple
number
years.
3,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Next line down, appointment to planning board. I don't like the word no-show, just unavailable to,
Yeah, was unable to attend.
yeah.
So under meanie, you remove the years. I didn't print mine, sorry.
So where it says, thanked her for 3 years, just for her years of service.
Yeah, just take the 3 out,
Yep.
and then,
Here under appointment to planning board, I just don't like the word no-show, just unavailable to attend.
Okay.
Just seems less.
all right. And you had, yeah, so, yeah, and then just change the verbiage for the no-show to,
Yep,
yeah, okay.
unavailable, yep.
Anything else on page 1? Page 2? All right, the bold where Vice Chairman Meany moved, Selectman Burdock,
Yeah, it's spelled slightly.
spelled
Spelled
slightly
off.
wrong, yeah. Anything else on 2?
Yeah, third line from the bottom. Says, however, the unitemized bill was $2,000. Is that correct?
I
Or
didn't
was
get
it
a chance to
itemized?
have her,
Was it itemized or not itemized?
Remember?
I don't
I
either.
thought it was itemized, because 2,000 I thought was the truck.
Yeah, I thought 2,000 was just the
And then
truck,
you were
the
gonna
Polo
pull, I
truck.
was gonna pull the old,
Right.
have Beth pull the old invoice for them.
Yeah.
Can we just scratch the word unitemized if we're not sure?
Yeah, I would say it'd probably be best just remove it. And page 3. I'm sorry, page 3. And 4. Move to approve the March 7th meeting minutes as amended.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Abstentions? Noes?
Kevin, all of you abstained because you
Yeah,
weren't
you
here.
weren't here.
Right? Just read them.
Excellent. Speed reader.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have
brings us to
one-
administrator's report.
I have one thing, I signed all the other Article 4, because it's effective date April 1st for the pool. I don't think I should sign my own payroll
Oh.
notice
Oh.
change. I
Alright.
did sign it,
Okay.
but Article 4 passed, I think it was 4 for the raises.
Okay,
So Beth typed up every one, I signed them all except for my own.
okay. I'll accept the motion.
It only takes one signature of you
Yeah.
guys to
It's
sign
the-
that
yeah,
payroll
it's-
notice
it's-
change.
It's the, yeah.
Make a motion to authorize Chairman Hippler to sign the
Payroll.
payroll change form for Naomi Bolton.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moving seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Then I have a request for, well, this takes 3 signatures, but there's a request from Chief Vizina to add a deputy forest fire warden appointment of Amanda Charest. Signed by Amanda, signed by the chief, and there's 3 signatures for you guys to sign. Doesn't need a motion. I will, if you guys can multitask, I'll go back to the one sheet that I have in front of you about the report. Obviously, you had the radio discussion this evening. Forester contract,
That's 21. I just post-dated it.
it's 3/22, 3/21/22.
Yes, that's what I thought too.
Okay. Forestry contract, we have, I just gotta get it to you guys to finalize. It has been to conservation, Laura's had a relook,
You signed
And
it,
everything.
please.
it's been, this
I didn't sign at all.
Oh,
tennis court, we're waiting for the repair,
I know it
resurface,
says
Can I jump in on that real quick?
okay?
So tennis courts, I was asked by the Parks and Rec director to meet her over there this weekend. Took a look at it, and the cracking is seemingly getting worse. There's actually chunks of asphalt now
sign
floating
it?
in between different cracks and
I
everything like
couldn't,
that.
I didn't
That's
get
what you see.
in, but I could see that there was a
Yep.
problem.
There's also raised lips, which could be just a fact of maybe a frost heave, I don't know. In communicating with a couple of members of Park, they've all agreed that it's probably best to just let it sit for now, until at least middle of April, if not later than that. My personal feeling, and we can discuss this under other business later, is I'd like to talk about possibly just keeping it closed until it gets resurfaced. But we can discuss that further down.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we can discuss that further down.
Yeah. Collins Cemetery, that'll take some time. We all know that about the abandonment and moving forward with the RSA. Cemetery trustees, that article passed. I don't know, without talking to town council, how to pursue, because some people got written in. You guys have it after 90 days, but something's gotta happen before 90 days, because
Right.
there's already, there's already some people calling.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do have some resources. I have, Judy Rogers,
Mhm.
Terry Knowles.
Yeah.
They're not interested in being trustees, but
But they'll
they've
take an
all done
occasional.
it, been there. And I think it would be good for us to lean on as much as we can.
Absolutely.
Because this is all new to us.
Mhm.
I am going to, I think Jack mentioned at your last meeting, Amherst has software for the cemeteries.
Yes.
So I'm trying to hook up with the town administrator to see what exactly that entails. Because the software is nice, but I don't know what that does
How to
for us.
apply it.
Right.
Right,
I
okay.
don't know when it comes to actually placing somebody, I don't know how that works.
Right.
So that'll be continue. Now that mud season's pretty much, I mean, I think we can almost get up there, but I don't know as far as the Barden property, I'm holding out still.
Yeah,
Because I just don't, the
Yeah.
minute you
Probably
start
still
getting up
soft.
there,
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
it's still soft.
Especially a big truck or something.
Yeah, it's
The
still soft.
driveway bond policy, once Benji gets off his April 15th call time, I believe then we'll have some, right now they're doing mud season.
Can you back me up a minute, just
Sure.
on the asbestos testing on 487? Where is
Yeah,
that?
so we took, the town of Ware purchased the Barden property on North Stark Highway.
Before John Stark
And
on the
par-
left if you head towards
Yeah,
Anchor.
so part of it has a building, and part of purchasing it, we were gonna take the building down, but we have to test for asbestos first,
Before you touch it.
before either Benji puts it in a dumpster, or
Right.
we can
You have
have
to
the fire
abate it.
department look at it, but I don't think it's worth that for training. So we had agreed that asbestos testing would, and then snow got there, and we didn't plow the driveway because we didn't want
Yeah, yeah.
community
access to-
activity up
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So, and now that mud season's here, I don't want to have somebody try to go up and give me an asbestos test and then get stuck.
Yeah, or try and
So-
put a truck up there with a dumpster.
Right, yeah, 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 yeah.
So we're kind of waiting for mud season to dry
Have
up.
we done a visual ourselves or any member?
I mean, I've been up, I don't know
I
if
have- I
anybody
have
else,
not,
but
no.
it's very muddy to get up there, you might want to hike in, it's very muddy. I've been up there.
How far
What
is
it-
the house off the road?
Not far, I mean, the
Couple hundred
driveway
feet.
goes up and it bends,
Couple hundred feet?
yeah, it's not
Okay.
that far,
When
but,
was it built?
I believe it was
70.
in the, I thought
70s?
it was in the 80s.
Ladies?
Yeah. It's
But
not much of a
what it
building,
is,
is
it's
it?
made of, the only thing I can think of that could possibly be asbestos, but I don't believe it is the shingles, because there's a, I don't know if it's modern, it's like an octagon on the end of the house, which was used for storage, but it's completely covered in asphalt shingles, like roof shingles. The house, or the camp that they were in, is cedar shingles, because there's extra bundles underneath. The Aaron Goss has removed the tanks, and Eversource has rolled back the power, so there's nothing there. The only thing I could think of would be the shingles, but I don't think that they were doing anything with asbestos in that area.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think
But
they were
to
done.
make itself sure, as part of our
Yeah,
purchase, we were gonna
We
make
have
sure.
to. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, okay.
That would be the only thing. I mean, it's not a very big place, and then there's a detached little area off to the side, looks like
Yeah,
a shed.
now I know where it is. I know exactly where it is.
Okay,
Never
okay.
people that live there.
All set? So, like I said, with the driveway bond, I just gotta get together with Benji, once he has a little free time. I think I talked to John today, they were out today fixing up mud holes.
Yeah,
Obviously, you saw Channel
there's plenty
9's.
of them, I'm sure.
So the rabies clinic, you guys gave me the green light. I just want to keep announcing the rabies clinic Maureen's going to do on April 13th, which is at the town hall. Dogs or cats, $10 a piece. You already did the BOS, you already did the selection. We're still on the 2022 budget. Everyone knows we got default by 50 votes. We're crunching numbers to see what we're up to, what's going to happen. You know you have a vacancy upstairs.
Yep.
We gotta see what we have.
We have a vacancy down here too, tax collector.
We have 2 vacancies, but, we have to see what there is for money. It's gonna be tight.
Gonna be tight.
And you and I
Yep.
talked like a banjo tight. It's gonna
Yeah.
be tight.
Very tight.
Well, especially with the
Because we're
fuel.
dealing with 3 years ago's numbers.
Mm-hmm. And now we're full staffed
And
in
now we're
a
full
lot of
staff.
places.
You have 7.5% inflation, you have fuel, heating oil,
Salt.
all these other things, salt, overtime that you're dealing with for
Mhm.
the roads. So it's gonna take Beth some time to crunch.
Yeah.
We were gonna kind of give it a couple weeks, and when Benji came off of pretty much April 15th, we would see where we are. Kind of forecast where we're going.
Yep. And see what
that
we
way.
can do.
So-
Yep.
So that's where we are at this point. What I'd like to just discuss maybe on the next one, I've seen a lot going on in the airways on my part, as far as there's been a lot of discussion at some of the bills that are coming back and forth through the House of Representatives. I'm thinking that it would be nice to invite in our representatives to have a discussion. This is an election year, so it would be kind of nice to know what's going on and what's been good for where.
I agree.
Because I just think that it's important to us.
Yeah. It affects us.
Ruth Ward's been here. Ruth Ward's a senator. But it would be nice to reach out to the representatives from the House level and ask them to come have a general discussion.
Yeah, and see what's going on.
There's discussion of the state taking back the 7.5% of the retirement. I can't see that happening, because that means they're gonna kick in the 7.5%. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I just think it's an opportunity for us and for them.
To hear us and
If they're
talk to us.
running
and-
for re-election, it would be nice to know what's happened, how Ware has fended.
Yep.
I think it's only fair for all of us to know. I can read, I get a ton of emails. I just can't follow every House bill, so.
But it's a lot easier when they stand right in front of you.
Well,
too.
it's a lot easier,
And you
and they
can
can
Q and A.
and they're usually, right, they're usually there, living it, so let's ask
Right.
the question.
Let's ask the
if we
questions.
can. So, I am gonna send it out to two of them. A third one has got some health issues. So he's being excused at the House.
Yep.
I did see that.
Yep.
So I would just ask that one or both of the other ones come in and just share what's going on.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Is that okay?
Yep.
I'll do it April. I'll give them both the first and third of each
Yeah,
month and
that's
see what
fine.
works for them.
Yeah.
Do you think that we might have more people come in than the day that they come? Do we want to do it somewhere else besides here?
No, I think here's fine.
No, I think
I
yours
don't
fine.
think we'll have that many, okay.
No.
Yep. And then until we meet again, I'm not here this week on Tuesday or Thursday.
Yep.
I'm gonna go down through now to your town hall projects. I'm in search of a contractor that might have a few minutes. They all seem to be good.
You're busy, I'm sure.
That are gone. So I'm gonna continue to work on that, which I would like to talk under other business as well. And I think it has to do with opening the town hall or not as
Okay.
part of a default budget.
Right.
I think there's, in the price of heating, the price of everything else. I know we've got to let the 250th Pine Tree Riot do their play, which they have been over there a couple of times looking at the stage and how they're going to, do things. And I think it's a great use of it.
Yep.
Especially it's got history.
Yeah.
And then we let Maureen do
Do the rabies.
Do the rabies because we haven't done it for the community in 2 years. And if any of you have pets and take a pet to the vet, I think it's between $35 and $50 just for the office visit, and this
Right.
is $10. So I think that's a great thing for the community. But beyond that, I think we need to really be part of a
Yeah,
discussion as to
assess.
what you want to do beyond that.
Yeah, assess it, yeah.
So I'm looking, but to try to find someone that's available with some references and some insurance. I'm working at it. That's all I can tell you at this
Okay.
point.
I've got a suggestion. but
Okay, thank
When we
you.
get to that point.
I just gotta, with Benji, we have to meet with the gentleman down in Riverdale. And we have to figure out where that new line's gonna be for the intersection. I
Oh,
don't know if
okay.
it's gonna be at the shrubs, I'm not sure exactly, and then Keach can put it on a plan. It still will have to go to zoning, because you're gonna make his lot non-conforming,
Right.
so we still have to go through the zoning aspect of it. I just wanna make sure that we stay on it, and Benji knows that, just in case down the road. But he does wanna clean up that intersection. In order to do that, the gentleman's gonna donate the property,
Right.
so I don't think it is, it's just the steps you have to follow to get there.
This is the corner of River Road and Riverdale.
Yep.
The gentleman that is on the north side of the intersection has basically said he realizes that the intersection is dangerous, and he's gonna donate some property of his own to make it better, not, and just, improve it.
He's willing to donate the corner so we could improve the corner a little bit.
Yeah.
because that's where a lot of the trucks turn, if they use River Road, to go up the hill, and it just makes, because you can't go down to Goffstown, because they posted it.
No through trucks.
So to make that turn and to make it safer, he actually approached Benji, but we had to have it surveyed, which we used the town engineer survey company. They've presented us with a plan, we just have to go to him and say, where would you like, or how much is he interested in giving up?
Giving us, yeah.
So I think that's where we are, it's just with Benji and storms, it's just been time.
Right, and that's why we've been working on it.
So it will, but then there is a process beyond that. Once we get to an agreement with them, we have to go to the zoning board
Right.
because it would make it non-conforming, so. But that's still being worked on as well. And with that, I'm gonna lead you to the bottom part, which is the ex officio update since our last
I
meeting.
got one thing,
Okay.
building and maintenance project, Clinton Grove Bell Tower, why is that still on hold?
I think we agreed to put it on hold a year
because-
ago.
Yeah, because we
Yeah.
didn't have.
I just didn't want it lost, that's why it's
Yeah,
on
it's just
hold.
It's
keep
just
track.
under $100,000 in the fund for that building, so why are we gonna,
Oh,
why are we holding it?
No,
not
that's not
Mildred
a
Hall?
No, that's not 100,000.
It's not 100,000
No
Mildred Hall.
way.
99,000 for Clinton Grove Academy.
There's a mistake then.
I thought it was a lot less than
Lot.
that.
That's what the town report said.
Well, that might have been a
In the
typo.
MS9?
Mhm.
That would've come from the bank. MS9 and 10 comes directly from the bank.
I thought there was a lot less than that
If
in
there's
there.
that much money
No,
in
they,
there.
they used it, we used about 10,000 for the bell tower. I got the grant, so it didn't cost us anything to roof it. So.
Do we
it-
get clarification on that for
It started
next
with
meeting?
50,000,
Yeah, I think we need to get clarification on that.
yeah.
Go to the website.
I don't think that it's, I mean, I don't think it's grown that much. Maybe it has, but,
I don't
I'd
think.
be
I
surprised.
mean, like I said, only started at 50,
right.
so.
Well, the
yeah.
reason it says on hold, because we decided to do that as a group a long time ago.
Right.
To put it
I
on
remember that.
It
I
might
mean,
have,
if there's actually that much money in there, then yeah, why are we holding
Well,
it?
that's what I
But-
read.
But if it, yeah.
Mildred
But-
Hall Fund, Clinton Grove Academy.
yeah, I don't think
99.
it's that much, though. I don't think it is. I know we took about 10 out for the bell
There might be
tower when we
about
did it
1.0
the first
in
time.
there.
We put a new roof on it.
Somebody screwed up in the town report.
Yeah, maybe it was error.
I don't imagine
I
if
don't
it's on
think
the
it's
report,
doubled.
it comes from the bank.
Right, so, all right, we'll look into it. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yep. Ex officio updates? John?
I was occupied during the last meeting doing voting stuff. They had the park meeting
True.
while we were at vote, so unfortunately I was not there to attend.
You're excused.
Thank you.
I know you're not really an ex officio, but conservation?
Yeah, we didn't meet. They
No.
canceled due to the snowstorm. That snow we had that
Oh, yeah,
night.
that's right, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That'd been about right, yeah. Stone Fund's still meeting twice a year, but we haven't met recently.
Okay.
And CIP is all over with.
CPI, yeah, that's all over until September.
You're good to go. You're off the hook. Jack's not here. to do
Yeah,
planning
and
board.
Jack's not here.
On your administrative report, the first line item, custodian position details. Seeing as how we're default budget again, should we just wipe that off?
I think we should just take that off, honestly.
I don't think we're gonna be talking about that anytime soon.
No.
Okay. Joint Loss Management Committee, haven't met since COVID. Are they still
I
going
think
with
we
it?
have to have a joint, I'll have to start that again.
Okay,
Because we have to have, by Primex standards, you have to have a joint loss committee,
Right,
which is based on department heads as well as employees.
okay.
right.
You have to have kind of an equal balance, and what you do is, if, we've been fortunate enough, there hasn't been a lot of incidents.
Mhm.
So what you do is when incidents occur, typically you sit down and see whether safeguards were in place. If they weren't in place, why did it happen?
Okay,
So they basically go over all of the, whether it be an incident to a person, whether it be a vehicle or property, and then they hash it out as a group
yep,
and discuss safeguards, like I said, and if something needed to be changed, then we make a recommendation. If there isn't, if it just naturally happened as an accident, it's not much we can do. And we go from there, but
Okay.
we still have to, and we also have to look at the buildings. I believe it's once a year. Somebody has to, a couple of committees go off and look at the different buildings to see if there's extension cord across the room, if there's all these other trip hazards or
Yep.
things, if there's things that need to be changed, and over time, we've just kind of strung the accord across, because we didn't want to get the light the outlet fixed
Mm-hmm.
to become somebody trip over. There's a lot of things like
Right.
that. So there's a multiple things. We were meeting quite religiously. Dina took on the chairman. I'll touch base with her, but now that things are back, I'll have to see who made up the committee, because maybe some of the people that were employees or
May not
department
even
heads are
been.
no longer here.
Yep.
Right,
Right.
So we
yeah,
have
that's
to
what I'm
like
thinking.
rejuvenate, but,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
probably
we
be a
can
good idea to
rejuvenate.
start that back up again, I think.
Yeah, yeah, we should be able to.
Okay.
It may be a different,
Group of faces, but
yeah,
that's okay. as
It's
long
also a
as
different set of eyes, too.
That's right, absolutely, I agree.
absolutely.
Anything else in the report? Okay, that brings us to correspondence, other business.
I've got some other business. Last year, I talked about getting some gravel put down by the barn, because there's a couple of holes there where the water's going in,
The brown,
brown barn.
okay.
So if it's all right, I'd see if I could just meet Ben there and show him and see what he suggests to bring up.
I think yeah, we did talk about that, I think when we did our site walk there, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
At his convenience,
Yeah,
obviously.
oh, yeah.
All right.
The other thing is the gutter. We talked about putting gutters on it, we never did it, because the person that had given me the information to do the barn roof and the gutters, he's qualified to do the gutters, but he did not have insurance to
For
do
the
the
roof,
roof.
right.
So I don't know if you want me to approach him, because we really need to get some gutters on that side of the building.
This would be the
East side of,
east side, right,
east, no.
No.
The side facing the cemetery,
correct.
West side.
The west side.
west side.
I mean, if you'd like to approach, I think that's okay, but, you know, again,
Probably
rolling back to a default number,
Well, I think this,
if it could be granted or donated or fundraised,
yeah,
you know, like I said,
yeah.
I, for one member, am okay with you, you know, seeking out the number, but, as of right now, I don't believe that we have the money to spend on it.
Okay. And then the other issue is, over the last 3 or 4 days, we lost about an 8-foot section off the stone building, the cap, on the back side facing the
The library?
library, but on the end toward the
Legion?
Legion.
Not
About
the end that just got put back on the other side.
the opposite end of what we'd
Right,
lost a year or so ago.
Well, I think we need to put that back
Right,
on
yeah.
pronto,
Yeah.
pronto.
We're
So-
not gonna go back and look for the same guy. That was painful.
That's painful. Yeah.
Find somebody just to do it.
Somebody that knows how to deal with metal roofing, minimum.
Anybody,
Is
that
it
It's gonna have to
copper?
be
Is it
sodded, so it's gonna have to be prepped first, and,
well, anybody that can get it back on there in reasonable fashion. I don't believe our last contractor would be here for another 2.5 years if we got a hold of him, so. I mean, if they're willing to come down in a day, that's fine, but, I think we need to seek other
Right.
qualified copper roof repair.
yeah.
Who was that contractor?
The contractor was, Walker Roofing.
Walker Roofing
in Vermont.
out of Brattleboro, but they were in Hinsdale when we had them put the original roof on here,
Yeah.
back in 2008.
And we seek them out to do some of the work on the town hall, last year.
They
the
It
year
just
before.
was a long time.
It was months to
Yeah.
get them, you know,
Well,
in here where
everybody's
they're living and
buried,
everything.
yeah.
A lot of false starts saying they were gonna be there.
Yeah, we're gonna be here, nobody showed.
Have
Yeah.
you checked with Rod Roofing out of St. Johnsbury?
I did. In fact, they gave, well, not recently, but they gave us one of the
Well, the only
quotes.
reason, yeah, is they'll be at St. Paul's doing spring work there on
Yeah.
those roofs,
Yeah,
so they'd be local
Yeah.
to that, and
Might wanna reach
it
out
would
to
be a
them.
Who's it?
short.
Rod,
Rod.
ROD?
Yeah, out of St. Johnsbury.
Okay.
But they-
Vermont.
Yeah, but they do all of St.
Yeah, I know.
Paul's work. so,
Yeah, that, I know they've done
Be
work
nice
at
to
the
be able
State
to-
House.
Yeah, if we could
Yeah.
group that, that'd be awesome.
yeah. You can ask for Casey Rod, and tell him Kevin Cahill told you to call.
Okay,
There you go. Thank you,
thank you,
much
Kevin.
appreciated. All set?
Yeah, that's me.
Did you wanna talk about?
Yep, so,
You got a laundry list, don't you?
I got two if you got,
No, go ahead. All right, I got a laundry
well,
list.
what about
That's
Mr.
all-
Osborne?
That's what I
All
was,
set.
all right, oh, geez, okay.
Oh, my
Alright,
God.
Take it away.
So, continuing on with tennis courts, I sent everybody an email asking them to go take a look at it. I don't know if anybody had a chance to.
Yeah, I did, I looked.
So the concerns that were brought to me were raised portions of asphalt in the playing field.
Tripping mess.
My concern is somebody's gonna hit it and start eating asphalt. From a liability standpoint, I'm very nervous about that. There are some park members that say, well, everybody is responsible for their own actions. It is town property,
Right.
and I want to say, I would like to see it stay closed until the resurfacing is done. Don't know when the resurfacing is going to be done, though. That's the problem. There's certain weather stipulations that have to be met, and then their schedule. So we don't know when that's going to happen.
Doesn't matter,
But-
really. It's a safety issue.
That's my thought on it. I asked if we could have a park rep here. Unfortunately, schedules didn't allow that for them. I told them that I would relay everybody else's concerns. It's a mixed bag. Some say shut it down. Some say reevaluate it in 2 weeks. Some say let her stay open.
I'm on the reevaluate, because with spring here, stuff moving around, that might settle back down. I understand the cracks are open, but that actual difference of
lip.
elevation might settle back down. So I say we reevaluate in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It'll be a
End
month.
of April, by the end of April?
That was one of the suggestions that came through, yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Who's the contractor that's resurfacing?
The company is,
Vermont Recreational?
yeah.
yeah,
That sounds
that's
right.
going to be coming in, and I don't know the exact scope of work. I suspect it's going to be a very thin mill and shim and overlay. But what it really needs is to be completely torn up, a proper base put down, and then proper asphalt and
Yeah, because
coating on
we
top.
looked at, there's only what, inch and
We're
a half?
guessing it's very thin.
It's very thin, what's there now existing,
Yeah.
Yep.
so.
And they're,
not-
excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but are they under contract already?
Yes.
We've
But the-
signed something and said we're first in line, but I don't know when
But
first
there
in
was
line.
no
We have
date.
not paid a deposit yet, to my knowledge.
No, we
And they have not given us a hard date yet.
no.
They were supposed to be here last summer, but supply chain issues, as weird as it sounds, they couldn't get buckets for paint.
And also, this is being funded by the groups that utilize, not by the town.
The Emma Sawyer Fund.
Right, the Emma Sawyer Fund,
Exactly.
yeah, so, I mean, it is by the town, but it's by, funds.
I'll take a drive by and look at it, just from my experience. see
Yep.
what
You
what I think.
probably have to forward him the gate code, because he wasn't a part of that.
I probably can, I can probably.
You can see it.
You can
but
see it
I didn't
right
even
without
go
getting
in.
in.
I could
Yeah.
just see it standing there.
All right,
Yeah, I think you make a good point, because whatever's there is just gonna transfer up through in a matter of a few years.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing.
But the problem is the cost to completely strip, put a whole new base down and rebuild it.
Yeah, it was
Substantial.
somewhere over
Yeah.
50,000.
Oh, we're thinking closer to 100.
That'd be
At least, at
100,000.
least, yeah.
Yeah. And that's a tough pill to swallow, especially when
You only got 25
voters
people.
don't seem to want to give us a full budget. They want to keep going with the default budget, which puts everything really tight, unfortunately.
Right.
Our only other option is to go to the voters with a warrant article for $100,000, or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
Down the line.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. But we are under contract, I guess that's, so,
We have an agreement. I will
Yeah,
say that. I don't
a
know if it's an
verbal
actual
agreement. Yeah, I
contract.
don't think, we haven't signed anything, so I think it's a more verbal.
I can't say with any confidence either way.
Okay, all right.
I think we'd, I
go
think
ahead.
we would be remiss if we didn't at least give it some time. You know, frost season is still here.
Settle, yeah, and then
Mud
reevaluate.
season is still working its way out, and maybe it will come back together, at least the cracks and the stuff that are at least showing
And
today.
at least level back out.
And the other thing, I think, if it becomes a safety issue, yes, people are gonna go in.
Well, not if we keep it actually padlocked.
If you keep it padlocked, but if you allow them to come in and something happens.
Somebody falls.
Keep in mind, you have insurance, and we're just working our way back down for a
Yep.
decent insurance.
Right,
That
yeah,
wouldn't take a second for someone to,
yeah, an incident to push it back up.
right. So I'm just saying, I think we have an obligation
Oh,
to
absolutely.
also keep an eye on that part and
Yep.
keep everybody safe to best of knowledge. If we posted it closed, they cut the lock and go in and do something, it's not, I can't do much about it.
We can't do much about that.
But I
right.
think revisiting it, I believe, in 3 or 4 weeks when
Yeah,
things have
I think
settled
that's
out,
probably,
dried out.
at least revisiting it, and we can
And you
redecide.
can see if it gotten better, worse, or didn't change.
Right, yep.
So revisiting,
You could also meet over there as a group prior to your meeting, now that it stays later.
Right, yeah, that's possible
so
too.
I'm looking
we
at
don't
the
meet
calendar.
next week, the 28th.
You're meeting the 4th of April.
4th and 18th. I'd like to revisit it on the 18th
That's fine.
with maybe,
Maybe a site walk.
weather permitting, a site walk a half hour prior.
Can you do 6?
It'll be tight.
Or what if we have the meeting start at 7 and we do our site walk at 6:30?
That's fine, I like that, I
Alright.
like that, it'd be
So,
better.
so site visit,
Yep.
What is it?
April
April
18th
18th.
at 6:30 over at the tennis court.
Yep, and start our
And then the
meeting
meeting would start at 7.
7.
Yep,
Right.
and we can invite Park to also join us.
Yes,
Yeah, I have to
please.
post it as a meeting,
Yep.
so.
Mhm.
Okay, no, I think that's the right.
Yep, I think it's a good
You know,
move.
it might be handy, just if one of us could get in and photograph with a tape measure, just take a picture of whatever the
Of
shift
the
is.
separation
Yeah.
and shifts, yeah.
And just to see if
See
it
what
actually
happens.
changes.
Yes, so we have something to go with.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I tried to get in there this afternoon, I couldn't, the lock wouldn't work.
I'll pass that down,
I
that's
said
the
to-
gate code.
I set it in there, I did,
Top secret.
Top secret, yeah.
it didn't work for me.
Yeah, I'd be glad to do that for you.
You gotta put in the code and then you gotta push and then it'll unlock.
Yeah,
It won't just
okay.
pull.
Ah, see,
Yeah, see?
I just pulled.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
no comment,
I have to
Yeah, all right.
I'll do it in the morning, I'm going by.
Okay.
thank you, Kevin.
no comment.
Yep.
All right.
And the other thing I had was about Motorola radios. I assume that's probably what you wanted to talk about?
It's on the list.
Okay. We'll save it then. Save it to the end, because I think that's gonna be a lengthy
I
conversation.
think it's gonna be 2, so, all right. You're all set?
Did you have something you wanted to bring
Yeah, I
up?
do actually. I have a project that I'd like to pursue, and it's connected to the warrant article with the retaining of the recyclable funds for improvements there. I've met with, as I'd rather call him, Mr. Knapp and the supervisor down there, and sort of try to create maybe a, what is the transfer station going to look like in 3-5 years from now?
Like a long-range plan.
Yeah, more of a long-range perspective, because I don't believe the current model is sustainable. I don't believe we can actually go to a full-blown recycling facility and somehow or another manage that on the budget we currently have.
Yep.
So things, Benji, Mr. Knapp, he was very receptive to that. One of the things, obviously, is front and center for him right now is how do we ramp up actual recycling? As we all know, we have certain mandates, but we've allowed that not to be, I guess, enforced to the letter of the law. So creating a program, talked to some of the new members of the school board and sort of getting a grassroots ground effort into the elementary school and building up from there. Because there's some real, I mean, there's crazy numbers because recycling now is, again, like it always does, right? We go into a recession and recycling takes off, for whatever reason, right? Oil goes up, recycling takes off. But aluminum cans, for instance, I think 34 aluminum cans are yielding 60 cents.
Wow.
The average person uses 32 cans a week. So-
Or glass bottles.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Wrong-
but that, no, I
wrong
mean,
beverage.
if you Google it, I mean, that's all, you
Yeah.
know, is
Yeah.
what's the average use, right? So you're nearing 62 cents per resident in Ware. When you do the math,
9,000 people.
there's a lot of people, a lot
Yeah.
of money that's going somewhere.
And this summer, it
Yeah, so
increases.
how we, anyway, Benji's all behind it. He, the people from the school board are all behind it. I've talked to a couple of local sort of designers. Benji would like to put a sign back up, where he can change the numbers, sort of say, this is what
This is where we're
34
at,
cans are worth.
Yeah, whatever happened to that sign?
I think
I don't
it-
know, but anyway, I just want your sort of blessing in respects to, this is just sort of a preliminary, and then maybe 2 or 3 months from now, be able to make a real presentation.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, but, I mean, he knows the scale is imminent.
Yeah.
He knows that, for instance, our furniture removal, which we we let furniture to be disposed of, mattresses and stuff, that, that every other town around us, there's something that comes back to the town, and we're taking it all on for free. So there's a few little ways we can actually.
And there's been discussion at this board, it really hasn't gone anywhere, but there's been discussion that, yes, that, obviously we have outgrown the facility.
Oh, absolutely.
A facility that was built in 1990
Right.
for approximately 5,000 residents is now serving 10,000. And I think that we had talked, I think this actually came up in the radio conversation because of liability that was out there as far as monetary liability. That we were looking at the time to finance the radio system. We're coming to the tail end of our, the DPW building. So a lot of bonds coming to their sunset, and how to put all that together. And like you said, still come up with a usable recycling center / transfer station, whether it's same location, build on what we got, complete new facility,
Yeah.
but it never ever took wheels from this board. It was always just random conversation,
Yeah.
so.
So let me, like I said, but I think come back with like 3 or 4 models. I personally think it's gonna be a hybrid model. I think we're gonna get somewheres in between, but not make a huge investment in something that in 5 or 6 years from now, because where the industry
Way behind,
is where it's like, okay, here we go again.
yeah.
Because it is quickly evolving, that industry. So,
Somebody that could help you on getting the schools involved is Jerry Cornett downtown New Boston's transfer station. He instituted that program down there.
yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I actually, so, anyway, another thing we discussed is the potential of utilizing the community work program through the high school. They all have to put in a certain amount of community time. Actually having, that's a perfect place, okay? And internships also,
Yep.
to help fill some of the downtime on the weekends.
We
Create
used to have
internships.
that,
Yeah, I know it, so.
used to.
We want to, again,
It's
it's some common sense things that we're just gonna
Yeah,
mull over.
Implement.
I'll be back to you. All I want is a blessing. I didn't want to be wandering
Go for
off
it.
and people go.
I'm good with that, absolutely,
Yeah.
for,
I have no issues with that.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Idea and planning, absolutely.
Sherry,
No,
any,
no, I don't have any problems, no, because
I think it's a great idea.
I've talked to Ben about it, what are we gonna do to get it better over there?
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
It's a big project, really.
Yep.
Yep. All right, all set?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, perfect. All right, so, I got a couple things, actually a whole list, never mind, a couple. I did receive an email from Representative Ruth Ward about some impending updates to the culvert at Otter Brook, which is just south of Langtot's. That the culvert, as you can see, that they're down there. They got a shed down there right now with some barriers. They said that there'll be traffic control devices. I don't know exactly what the extent of what they're going to be doing down there, but it sounds like obviously the state's got it handled. So it was more of a notification. It was
Yeah,
from
we all
her.
got letters in the mail today.
Got a letter
Oh.
I
today.
didn't
Perfect.
send it to you, but
I got the email last week.
it came from
so-
DOT.
Oh, all
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
yours-
Ruth reached out to,
Okay,
yeah, she
we
sent.
get ours from DLT.
Okay, perfect. So, the other thing is while I was at the DPW, or not DPW, I was down there at the transfer station this weekend. I just happened to catch a glance of the building inspector's old truck. I want to make sure that makes it to the White Farm for the spring auction.
Yeah.
Now that it's kind of not buried by snow and available. I know it was just put down there to be out of the way of here, but obviously we want that to go up there, and
can we drop that off early? I know I've seen other vehicles being dropped off there.
it wouldn't hurt to get a hold of the yard and maybe
Yeah, we have to fill out
St. Jean.
forms, you gotta bring
Yeah.
out the title, yeah.
Okay, but at least get the ball rolling.
And just get that out of his yard.
It's the third week in May, so I don't want to miss that opportunity.
Okay.
I think this is public. Where are we at with the tax deed property on Dustin Tavern?
That brings a point. We have 3 pieces, probably we ought to look at auction.
Mhm.
Now that, you probably have to wait 1 more month before you can start the eviction process, because you
Okay.
gotta wait through the winter.
We had to wait for the
broke.
winter, and we had COVID, and
Right.
that's where the stops
Yeah,
were.
I'll double check with Laura, but I believe we
Okay.
can start that probably the 1st of May, because the winter season would be over.
Okay.
And there's 2 other parcels as well. But we have to do the eviction and hold the auction, but I know of 3 pieces that we have anyway.
Do we want to actually discuss this in our non-public so we can fill in Mr. Cahill, so he knows the backstory on these?
Is that public knowledge though? As far as all the process down there, because it's tax deeded, or just we can just say the lot number. I think it's probably just the lot and that it's tax deeded. That's about all we can do,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, it's the town owns the piece.
Right,
We've been to court with him.
right.
He
Right.
doesn't want to pay the number that the court came up with.
The back tax
So now,
number.
Now you can't really evict and get rid of someone
Till, yeah,
until
end of
the
April.
winter's over.
Yeah.
And then we got hung up in the whole no eviction COVID mess.
Yep.
But now things have straightened out. We have 3, I'll call them properties, homes, that are owned by the town of Ware that we need to put back on the tax rolls. So it takes a process. It takes an eviction notice. It takes a little time.
Right.
But at the same time, we could schedule, depending on the time frame, I could schedule.
Maybe this fall.
With Laura, and we could look at this fall.
Yeah.
You may have more to add to it.
Mhm.
There's people that we're gonna be sending out letters for deeding.
Are these all residential properties?
The 3 that I know of are residential
Resident.
properties, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What we did probably 2 years ago is we went through all of our tax deeded properties and we had one big auction.
Mhm.
Then the next year wasn't as big because we had narrowed things
Yeah,
down.
clean things up.
And now we're down to really, I think, 3.
And then impendings, but
and
there's
then-
still a time period you have to wait after impending
Yeah.
and deeding.
And so we also, like I said, get caught up in the COVID. You get caught up with not being able to evict in the winter. And then there was a whole moratorium on throwing people out or evicting anyway. So there's some, at least 3 I know of, but we're gonna be running through deeding again, probably in August. So you'll have to decide whether you're gonna take property in August, but you can throw those in. Because there was a court case in Bedford that you no longer have to wait the 3 years.
Oh, okay, that was my next.
So the
thought.
Bedford outcome, gentleman sued, and it used to be that if you held the property, the town did after 3 years,
The
then
town
you
was
could
okay.
sell it and the town would get all the money back. So now what happens is, after, you can deed it on the 8th and sell it on the 20th. And what happens is you can only recover your taxes,
And the
and
rest
then you
goes
can
back to-
recover an administration fee of 15%. Anything over and above that,
Goes back.
typically gets sent to the courthouse, because there may be, we don't do a lot of title search, so there may be people that have put liens on properties, and then the court takes it from there and
Distributes it.
disperses it. But no longer do we keep all the proceeds anymore. That got decided on, I think, last year. The gentleman from Bedford, we were all waiting to see what happened. So now, there is no waiting period, but it goes back to the court for them to distribute. Because it could be people with mechanics liens, it could be all sorts of things
Sure, yeah,
attached,
yeah,
so.
Public service, everybody, right?
Yep.
Right.
So I think if we shoot for the fall, we can start the eviction process as soon as we can, because that takes, you gotta give them 1 notice, you gotta give them 2 notices.
Right.
So,
Next month's-
and then we can take it from there and see if I can, like, get a hold of,
We can
Say,
rent,
Gene.
we'll rent to them.
what's that?
We'll let them pay us rent
Yeah.
while we wait out the period.
Yeah, that would be ideal. But, all right.
Well, if we can't get the taxes, we're probably not getting the rent.
No, no. Everything else I have is non-public.
Motorola radios.
Motorola radios, yes. So, I just want to confirm, but my own take on it is, I just want to confirm where the fire department's at.
That's not what I understood, and that's why I was gonna
Right,
ask.
and that's why, like I said, I'm not ready to sign anything until I hear from either Coordinator Gilbert and Chief Azina, as far as how that's all gonna go, to see if they need any additional. Again, I do thank Jack and Scott and Bill for all their hard work at this, but again, we have other departments we cannot forget about, so.
Yeah, and Bob Vazina did ask me if he needed to come tonight, and I just, now that the article passed, I think we were on the same wavelength that, well, first of all, I told him that we weren't making a decision tonight on anything.
Correct.
Because we can't make an agreement or sign anything when you don't have any money.
Yep.
I mean, we don't know when that other half is coming
Right,
in.
exactly.
And so,
But he did say that they could do in arrears. So, I mean, we have the $475 now.
Yeah.
So we could at least theoretically, we could put down the down payment
Oh, absolutely.
and
We
then
could.
arrears the rest.
Yeah, yeah, we could.
So let me, I'm gonna just throw this out there, because I've told you I don't understand it. All that number sounded nice. Sounded like we got still some blanks.
Correct.
So we're gonna spend all that money, and we
still not have
may
it.
not
Be able to connect the dots.
be able to connect it so it even works,
Right,
right?
So we need to get a firm commitment from Granite State.
right. And I guess that's us.
step
to-
one.
That's us to reach
And
out to.
I'll reach out to Susan.
Yeah.
And then we also need numbers from two-way, because we don't have those yet.
And the other thing we need from two-way too is again, is do they need a down payment or do they need it all up front?
Yep.
I think there's a lot of void there too. And then on top of that, there is going to be reprogramming that needs to be done, and if there's any cost encumbered for that. There'll be no additional on-hip or in-vehicle equipment required, but there'll be a reprogram required.
So I heard there was, this plan with this money didn't have generators either, so that really.
Correct.
doesn't
Now,
get well.
now, the
That's
thing,
crazy.
now, here's the thing is, South Ware has a generator there. Now, is it very big? No. Could it power the unit? I don't know.
Most likely.
But I think I know it can power considerable amount of stuff in the station.
Does Eastware not have a?
Eastware has a portable generator. I think it's a 8,000-ish, 7,500-ish,
Gas powered?
gas powered.
Yeah, that, you need something standby.
You need
Correct.
standby.
That does not have standby up there.
Now, Eastware was a transmit site too, right?
That was a full-blown receive
Full-blown.
transmit.
So you need to have a generator there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then the two receive sites obviously would not be powered because Clough State Park and Chase Park are not
Those
not
are receive
generated.
only.
But they're
They're
receive
receive
only,
only.
right.
Right.
So probably the minimal loss that you'll
But
have
just-
there is
So just one generator is really all we would need.
one standby generator
Yep.
system, right? So, and also, the other reason I would think we'd want to talk to two-way is if we could utilize our DPW for digging the holes.
Yep.
Just an additional savings that we might be able to do. Obviously, we have the equipment.
Yep.
It's not like we're just running a backhoe, we
Yep.
actually have an excavator, so, and, some skilled operators, so I just want to see if they would work with us with that. They may not, but it's worth
Yeah.
the shot.
Yep. And it's not a big chunk of money, but it's every little bit.
Could be 10 grand, you don't know.
Yep.
And that 10 grand could get us hooked up with fiber optics, I don't know, at two sites, who knows, but,
So if it's possible, I'd like to see how much updated information we can get for next week.
Okay, so you
Next
need
meeting.
something
Next
from
meeting.
capital.
Meeting, excuse me,
Fourth.
yes.
yeah,
You
from,
need something from capital, you need some firm pricing from two-way,
yep,
and then you need firm pricing from Granite State.
correct. I think we need all of that,
Yeah.
yep.
Because you had his numbers.
Yeah.
And I jotted them down.
Yep.
Yep. No, and I think again, and much appreciation to them coming forward. It doesn't seem like much changed,
Yeah.
other than fire dropped out
That's why I was surprised to
in
hear
their
the whole 400,000.
in their equation. But really, it just seems like fire dropped out, and there was a couple minor adjustments, like they
Yeah,
said, the standby generators. But
Yeah,
again,
those-
I don't know how much.
Microwave.
Right, in the microwaves, and I don't understand. I don't know how much money was set aside. I don't remember for the standby generators, but
I
obviously.
don't know what it was.
The one down at South Ware needs to be, that was a, we need to check on that.
Well, standby generator, we can use at a government building maintenance fund.
We could, depending on how much money it is.
Yep.
Yep,
I can't
again,
imagine a
it's-
standby generator with its propane tank isn't gonna be a huge expense.
No, and I don't think that the actual site is gonna take a lot of power to operate.
Not at Eastware, I mean,
No,
there's really not much to that.
no.
I think you'll be looking at $6,000-7,000 to bury a tank and buy a standby
You could
generator.
go above ground tank.
Yeah, but somewhere in that vicinity, by the time you get done buying the generator and something that, and
Have
then,
somebody
and
hook
then
it up right.
electrician to put
Yeah.
it together with a auto transfer switch, et cetera, so.
Although if we're gonna do that, why not just see what the cost is gonna be from Motorola/two-way for a generator through them?
Oh, absolutely,
Roll
yeah.
Right into the package deal.
Yeah, I mean,
Instead of going on
you
our
might as
own.
well ask about it. It doesn't hurt, and it may be what we'll save in on-site, site work with using the town. You might be able to get that standby.
Yep.
Don't know. So it's
Yeah, I
there's a lot.
can
There's a lot of
see, I
questions
don't
on the
know, I
civil
thought
side.
Bill was coming tonight, I didn't see
Yeah.
from him,
It
but.
seems like there's more questions on the civil side than anything,
Right.
but just to
Still
make
need
sure.
to come up with a total package price.
Yeah, because that wasn't it.
That wasn't it.
No.
No, it close, but not quite.
No.
They just missed the 950.
Yeah, we got $200 to run a phone cord to it, yeah.
String.
Yeah,
Run a string.
on the ground, on top of the ground. Yeah, don't let a chipmunk grab it. So,
What's a cell phone month?
Yeah.
Cell phone per month?
yeah. So, I think that's,
Yeah, actually, when you said I have a non-public, I have request for a payment plan
okay.
for.
So that's under C.
C.
Okay. Mine's under A and C.
Taxes, okay.
So, we'll do two.
I got nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. Move to go into non-public under RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2, C.
Second?
Roll call vote. Chairman Hippel, yes. Vice Chairman Osborne?
Yes.
Selectman Burdick?
Yes.
Selectman Van?
Yes.
Selectman Cahill?
Yes.
All right, and we'll have one more non-public after this, and we'll adjourn after. So, thank you everyone for attending. Have a good night. There's a real